and welcome back. Oh my God, it's been a while to the Ask Dr. Renee show. So we did have a show last month. If you just missed it, you should watch it. I actually had Elena Reeds host the show, and she interviewed me. And so she has her own blog, and she sent me these lovely questions, and I felt that she should do it on video, and it was her first time. So please be gentle and please watch it. It was really, really, really good. She's only 13, I think it is. But it's in the video, so you'll know. So definitely please go watch that. If you have never watched the Ask Dr. Renee show, the show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve. Because let's face it, you only got one life. So you might as well live it up. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the only one we have. So I am all about making sure that I enjoy every day, no matter what goes on in the day, to enjoy every day. If you are watching live, do me a huge favor, share the post, no matter what platform you're on. But I will say YouTube is where it's at, because YouTube is where it's going to stay permanently. The other platforms, it will disappear. So you want to definitely make sure that you're watching it on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, we also have really cool features like Super Chat if you want to ask questions and stuff like that. So definitely head over to YouTube, and it's always, of course, it's on my channel, Ask Dr. Renee. And LinkedIn, let me tell you, I cannot see your questions unless I actually look at my phone, and I'm trying to just really quickly share this thing on my phone because we ran into a little glitch. But so if you want to ask a question, you really should hop over to YouTube and Super Chat, and we can get your question answered. But today I am really, really excited because it's March. It is National Women's History Month. In case you didn't know and hadn't heard, International Women's Day is on the 8th, March 8th. But this month is Women's History Month, and so we are going to have women. And many of the women will be business owners because a lot of my friends and family are. So, but it's so funny that today's guest is from St. Louis and next week's guest is too. So next week's guest, we'll get into that later. I'm very excited about her as well. But it's Women's History Month, so we're going to try and get you all sorts of nuggets from some amazing women that are doing amazing things. So please, please stay tuned. Also, if Saturday afternoons is not a good time to have that Ask Dr. Renee show, let me know what works for you, because then maybe we'll change the time if it's enough people. Who knows? So let me know, because that was another thing about not doing the show, was that I was like, oh, Saturdays, is it working? So I'm going to ask you, and you can answer, and then we'll know. You guys know I talk about my water all the. Oh, I haven't been on in so long. It's so crazy. So July was the last time we had an episode. It was Jason Weaver. It was amazing. In case you didn't see it, it was amazing. But since July, I've lost several dress sizes and more weight. And so I must say that March of last year was the game changer. I started drinking a gallon of water a day. I just got this lovely 32-ounce bottle from Hydrate Spark, and the one I had before was 21 ounces. So I only have to drink 4 of these a day. But if you go to my link, you can, I think they'll give you like 15% off or something. Don't quote me, but I'm putting it in the chat. So then whoever would like to get one can get one. But the best thing about this bottle is, as my doctor said, it's a smart bottle. So this lights up to remind me to drink. It lights up after I haven't drank. Yeah, like I said, to remind me to drink. It lights up when I drink. And then it also sends really amazing notifications to my phone. They could be funny. They could be serious, whatever. It sends notifications to my phone. It's so cute. I just love it. And, you should definitely get on board, because when I tell you it's important to drink water, your hair, your skin, your nails, all of them will love you for it. Drink more water. I'm just saying, drink more water. So of course this is live, and we had a little glitch with our system for some reason when it started today. So I'm just trying to get it corrected. I got it corrected. So we are going to be live on all these platforms now. And actually, I'm giving my guest plenty of time to share on her platforms too, hint, hint. So she's doing it now too. But so yeah, so please share the broadcast. Share away. Please share. And if you're watching the replay, why don't you just type replay when you watch the replay? But like I said, the full broadcast will be on YouTube. The rest of the platforms, except for Twitch and Twitter, which Twitch and Twitter, it's a momentary thing. But the other ones will have like a little teaser. So, and I'm so grateful to Evan Pace Wilson, who is doing such an amazing job with my videos for me and keeping me on brand and keeping me with content. It's so important, and it's so difficult to do things when you have to do them all yourself. And we'll talk about that today too. This is working. It's working. Okay. So I'm seeing that people are seeing it. People are seeing it. I'm excited. Okay. Please share. I'm going to also give you, no, this is down here. 1 second. Oh, I was right. That was the right place. See, this is what happens when you don't do it for a minute. You like fall out of practice. Okay, so you can subscribe to my channel. And then you'll know, hit the notification bell and you'll know when I go live. So I've actually posted a few shorts too in between. And then also, in case you didn't know, I have a show Thursday nights on blackdoctor.org. And we talk about health. Obviously, it's on blackdoctor.org. But health encompasses a lot of things. So I've talked about money health too, financial health. So blackdoctor.org, Thursday nights, those videos are on this channel as well. So if you want to watch those are here too. And we've been talking about some really great stuff. And this month we're going to cover, it's Colorectal Awareness Month. So we are going to talk about colon cancer, and we're going to talk about kidney disease this month as well, because it is Kidney Awareness Month as well. So I think I've said everything. So we will bring my guest. My guest today, in case you haven't looked at the post, is, wait a minute, and our names are on the screen because I've hit something. I'm going to fix that. So my guest is Abra McField. And if you have never seen us, we've been on Black Doctor actually a couple times. So you definitely should have seen us there. But, okay, something is very strange. I can't find the button to click the names. I'll figure it out. But welcome to the show, and thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys, in case you, like I said, you haven't seen, I am going to show you a video. I'm really mad about this names thing. I'm going to figure this out. Okay, I'm going to show you a video real quickly in case you didn't see it. But let me tell you, this video in particular, 1.2 million people have watched on my Facebook Reels. And then I was telling her today, I uploaded it to my Reels on Ask Dr. Renee page, and there's 36.3 thousand people or something that watched. So here's the video. Okay, hold on. We gotta hit play.
I'm sorry. This has to be addressed. How did this become this? Become this? Become this?
So that video is, of course, my hair. And so we're going to get into that. But first, Abra, we got to start at the beginning. So first of all, I always tell people how I know my guests. And actually, I was going to wait later, but I'll just say it now. So Abra is actually my cousin. But the funny story is that we did not grow up knowing each other. We met via social media, basically, Facebook. And so we had a whole lot in common. And so we just would talk that way. And so we'll tell the rest of the story later. But please tell us, how did you start? Like, when you were younger, what did you want to be?
Oh, well, I was really creative when I was younger. I was into dance and hair and acting. That I was very creative. I did a lot of things with my hands. So I wanted to, I don't know, I may have wanted to be a singer, maybe. I may have wanted to be a singer, like an artist. If I had to choose anything, like actor or artist, maybe, but nobody really asked that question when I was young. So, I'm just trying to think about, like, what was I more attracted to? Like, what brought me like that joy and that peace when I was younger? And it was definitely creative things for sure. But hair was a part of that. So interestingly, it's interesting you asked that. I did hair a lot. And I used it as like a to distract me from things that were going on. So yeah, it was yeah. So that's pretty much what I don't think I had in my mind, anything that was very solid. I just know what I enjoyed doing as a kid. So
Got you. So you are going to college. So what do you decide to major in?
I was going to school for pre-law. So I was supposed to be an attorney, surprisingly enough. Definitely had my mind set on that. When I went to college, I was like, I want to be an attorney. I had a mouth. I knew how to speak. I'm just gonna say I knew how to speak and debate. And I was like, well, maybe this is good for an attorney. Again, nobody really asked me what I wanted to be. So I was just kind of going off my skills that I had, and I just chose that. But looking back in retrospect, I'm glad that I didn't go that route. So
that is interesting. So so you went to Mizzou, which is very, very, very popular school when it comes to actually like media stuff, communications and writing and stuff like that.
Journalism.
Yeah. But so you graduate from college with a degree in poli-sci?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what was the next plan?
Well, okay, so my senior year I got pregnant. So before I got pregnant, I was planning on going to the University of Penn law school. And that obviously I didn't really have the support that I needed to do that. And so when I left college, I was like, where am I going to work? And then, so I ended up going to the Internal Revenue Service, but I got the job before I had my child, my oldest, who's 16 now. So I secured the job, but the job didn't start until October, right? October
and you graduated in May.
I graduated in May. I got the job in May or June.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to start the job until October, and I had October 3rd, and I had my child September 26th.
Gotcha.
And I started the job October 3rd, 6 days after, 5 days after having a huge baby.
Oh my God.
So that was a lot. Because it was my, when you look back, when you're younger, you just got one plan. You know what I mean?
Right,
you're not wise enough to know, okay, that plan may not work. So let me put a few things in this basket. I only had one plan. And it was such an intense hiring process. I was like, oh my God, I have to go to this job. My son was supposed to be born 3 weeks before I started the job, but he wanted to come out. He didn't want to come out. So he came 5 days before I started my job, and I couldn't, that was the only thing I had. I had to go. So 5 days after having him, I was driving to the Metrolink. I was riding the train downtown because downtown parking was very expensive at the time. It was hard to find parking spots. And I was walking 2 blocks to the building that I was working in. When I say the epitome of pain, it was very, very, very painful. In fact, I can remember one day I had him in September. So October, November, I think it snowed like 6 weeks later. And you're supposed to take 6 weeks before you're doing any like heavy moving around, walking up steps, doing this, right? So clearly I didn't heal in that 6 weeks. So it snowed, it was like icy, and I was walking and I slipped like a split, like how you will, but my pelvic area just was done. It was just so in pain from having a baby, and it never was allowed to heal. And when I tell you, I fell on the floor, like I must have laid on the floor for 5 minutes before somebody actually came over. I could not literally move before somebody came over and was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" It was that bad. So it was definitely, it's the epitome of just what women represent, like just survival. Like there are no options. We must do it. Men have options sometimes, Women, we must do it. You know what I mean? So we take on that warrior-like spirit and we just get it done, So
yeah.
And
we didn't mention she's from St. Louis, Missouri. So that's where you were working. Was in St. Louis?
Yeah, it was in St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah.
Okay. And so I don't know if I knew that they had a train system that was outside of the regular, trained like Greyhound. I mean, like
That's called
Amtrak.
MetroLink. They call it the
Okay.
MetroLink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know. So how long were you with the IRS?
I was with the IRS for about a year before my supervisor. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I told you when I was younger, I was really creative, right?
Right.
And at some point, that creativity got repressed because I went more into sports in college. My mother just thought that sports and you got to earn a scholarship to get to college. That was priority. So creativity took a back seat, but I was still very much a creative being, right? So I get to this job and now I'm more free to just be who I am. It's the real world now, right? So, I'm having to like watch me as I'm showing up in the real world, right? So my supervisor pulled me in her office. They would give, they say, hey, Abra, you got to do, these are the rules and policies. You have to do A, B, and C. That's how you have to do it. Right. But for some reason, I would do C, D, E or X, Y, Z. It was like I had never experienced that in my life. It was like my creativity had took over me. It was like no matter what, if I saw anything that could have been done better, could have been done faster, I was immediately drawn to it. I could not even force myself to do A, B, and C. So clearly that was an issue for them. They didn't care how good it was. They don't care if it was better. They don't care if it was faster. They care that you follow the directions, And I had a hard time with that. So when she pulled me in her office, she said, Abra, I don't think it's going to work here. I think that you would be better as an entrepreneur. And at the time, I didn't know what entrepreneur was. I never heard the word before, So I'm going up to Google, she fired me and my feelings hurt, and I'm going to Google entrepreneur. And it's like, somebody who owns their own business. And I was like, I can do that. Of course I can do that. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, you don't just jump into owning your own business. You got to have some type of business plan, So in the meantime, I went to work for like Edward Jones. So I was with IRS for a year. So I went to work with Edward Jones. And while I was there, I was planning on my business. And I was sitting around thinking, what can I do? What can I do? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? I even thought about real estate and got into real estate and spent a whole bunch of money. And then it crashed, so that was bad later on. But for some reason I had never thought about hair. But that was my passion. Like I actually really loved doing hair. When I was younger, I did it. It was fun. As I got older, I did it to survive. My mother didn't have a whole bunch of money. I had to go to college. I had to pay for my own things, pay for my own car, pay for everything that I needed, So yeah, I just, and then one day I said, let me call a cosmetology school. And I was calling around. I was like, no. No. And then I called one and they sound professional. I was like, hey, maybe I'll go to cosmetology school, But you got all these outside society thoughts and expectations of where you should be, and what you should be doing. And I was like, oh, I went to college. I was supposed to go be an attorney. I'm just going to be doing hair now. That was my first thought. But then I was like, you know what? I could take this as my own and do what I want with it. I have full control and I can make it into like a real business. And my mother didn't understand it at first, but a year or two later down the line, she was like, oh, I'm in the wrong industry. I'm definitely in the wrong industry. And she was a teacher. So yeah, I was doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't clocking in on anybody's clock, and it was hard work, but I did it. So yep.
So so you go to cosmetology school. How long was that process?
That was about 11 months.
Okay.
About 11 months. Yep. And I was building clientele while I was there.
Right. So did you go work in someone's salon or you?
After cosmetology school.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? A lot of people are really afraid to do that because you're fully on your own. Okay. Like you go into a salon, you have to pay rent.
Right.
Weekly. You're responsible for building your clientele, and what if they don't come? And for a lot of people, they don't come. And if they come, they don't stay. So that's a lot of cosmetologists, hairstylist issues, So I did go into someone's salon. I went in paying $230 a week, which is a heck of a lot.
Well, it was back then.
$1,000 a month. You know what I mean? It's a heck of a lot for a new cosmetologist, but I was just really determined. Like no one could tell me that I couldn't go where I wanted to go. No one, and I was really determined. I'm talking about I didn't have a social life. I was a single mother. And I didn't have a social life. Everybody else my age was partying and having fun and living their best life. And to me, if I wasn't secure, if I didn't have money in the bank, how could I have fun?
Right.
People were having fun without money, and a lot of people are okay with that. But for me, that didn't feel good.
Right.
So,
Right. That's stressful.
Yeah, very stressful. Very stressful.
So how long did you work in that salon? I mean, to pay $230 a week. How long did you do that?
I was there for because I started in 2008, and then 2009 so I was there from 2008, like January, February 2008 until about August 2009. And in between that time, I actually did a reality show called Split Ends. And it's when you take hairstylists from different areas and you swap them, and they got to survive in their area. So you could take somebody from an edgy, upscale salon in New York and put them in a country, salon in Texas, you know what I mean, for a week. And it's just full of drama because things are different. You're taking someone out their comfort zone and putting them in the wilderness somewhere, clearly, and I did that, and that was pretty fun and interesting. But then in 2009, August, when I left that salon, I had my second son. So they're 4 years apart. So I had my second son, and I didn't go back to that salon. And I started my own, like I got my own suite, and then I was paying $250 a week, so I had always been paying a lot per week, but that's because I was really determined. The space I was in was very important to me. I wasn't willing to go somewhere and pay $75 a week, but it was unprofessional.
Right.
People weren't on the same page, so I had to pay for the energy and the positive and professional space. So yeah.
And so how long were you how long before you got into your salon?
Okay, so I went from the suite, right? So I started there 6 weeks after I had my second son. So I was never the one that had the 2, 3
12 months. 12 weeks, 3 months off.
Yeah, that was not possible because as a hairstylist, if you don't work, you don't make money.
Right.
So I had to get to it. I had to get back to it real fast. So I was there for about another year. I was in my own suite for a year. And then I had the bright idea to move to Atlanta, a whole different city with 2 small kids and not enough money. Yeah, I did that. And what happened was I ended up living in my car. So we can be on here forever to talk about that experience. But I was really emotionally attached to this idea of being in a different city, having just more opportunities, obviously. I was too attached to it. I was so attached to it that I couldn't see the reality of my situation. I have a 1-year-old or under 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and in a city where I have no family. So who is about to leave their kids with someone for 16 hours while I go on Tyler Perry set to do hair? You know what I mean? Like when you leave your kids with people that long, they start to believe that that's their property. And then they start doing whatever it is that they want to do to them or with them. And I just wasn't willing to 20 years, 30 years down the line, my kids come to me and say, hey, you left me there and something happened to me. You know what I mean? I can't deal with that. So the protection of my kids is my number one priority. So I couldn't make things happen there. I just didn't have the money. I would drive. I was down there for about a year and a half. I would drive up to St. Louis on the weekend to do hair to make money enough for the month, I would say. I'll drive up for 2 days and do hair and make $3,000, $3,500, but I had to work. So I'm driving from Atlanta 9 hours, 12 o'clock midnight, get to St. Louis at 9 o'clock in the morning, drop them off with my mom, start working from 9 to 10 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night, even 12 o'clock. Then I would wake up and do it again, get up at 6, 7, do it the same day on up until Sunday, right? And then Sunday at 6, 7, 8 p.m., I'm driving back to Atlanta. You know, so in the whole weekend, I've probably gotten 5, 6 hours of sleep in 3 days. You know what I mean? That was my life for a while until I said, I can't do this anymore. You know,
Right.
The other side of that decision was living in my car. So I remember, you know, I was telling the landlord, I just can't. It's just, I think I really was depressed at that point. I think, and this was back in 2011, maybe. I just, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where it's just too much to deal with. And when you get to that point, you just don't want to deal at all. So things can be happening around you. You don't even know because you're just lost in yourself, you know, and that's kind of where I was. And I ended up, we stayed in the car. I had a Grand Am at the time with tinted windows. So nobody could see what was inside. Nobody could even see if somebody was inside. They were so tinted, which I thank God for that. And we stayed on Walmart's parking lot. We was there for 3 days. And we went to Walmart and we washed up. I had styrofoam. I only had about $75 to my name. So we had styrofoam and cereal and milk and things like that. So I wouldn't buy the big carton. I just bought like the little 1 serving milk thing or whatever. We just had this routine until I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And it was getting cold. So I had to, we didn't have the resources we have now. We didn't have social media. So I had Craigslist. I went on Craigslist to try to find somebody's home that I can stay in. And I ended up, I don't remember calling a bunch of people. For some reason, I was guided towards this one particular number and it worked out, It was a man, it was a Caucasian man, and I went by the house. He had this dog and it smelled like dog, but it wasn't too bad, but I could just remember the smell. But he was really nice and was a spiritual guy, that could have went left. You know what I mean? That could have been a whole crazy psycho.
Could have.
You know what I mean? Like capturing us and, thank God, honestly, there is truly a God because I was fully protected in that moment. So a lot of times things happen, and if you get so lost in a moment that you don't see why it's happening, you know what I mean? You don't see that you truly do have the support, And I couldn't see it at that time, but as I reflect back, I was like, wow, that, your situation could always be worse. So I ended up living there. And I lived in this man's room for 3 weeks. And it was so hard because my 5-year-old was in school, kindergarten. This is his first year experience of real school. And he's 30 minutes away. Atlanta's a really big city, so I have to find a way to drive him to school. And it was a lot. And then I decided, what? I need to go back to St. Louis. I just need to go back. I need to let this dream go that I have, release this emotional attachment, and I need to just go back home. And so that's how that went.
So you came home and you decided to so did you have to go to someone's salon first before you decided to New York? Okay.
Yeah, so I went to someone's salon, and I'm gonna tell you right now, when you're a mother and you living in a car, you don't have a home, you feel like a failure. And I feel like I failed my kids. And that was just the one thing that I did not want to do. And so when I got back to St. Louis, I was on fire. I was willing to risk it all, even my life, apparently. We'll talk about that in a second. I worked nonstop. When I tell you nonstop, I wanted to make sure I had enough money to where I didn't have to ask anybody for a dime. I wanted to make sure I had enough money that if something happened, I broke my leg, I broke my hand, my arm, or I got sick, that I could be secure for 3 to 6 months. So that's kind of what happened. And then I ended up getting my own salon. And honestly, it was me and my sister's salon, and we had this agreement with a barber next door. And it was like a subcontract type of thing. He put all the furniture in there, and us as well as all of our girls in there paid him rent. So
like a subletting kind of a thing.
Exactly, right. So it really wasn't really like a real salon it wasn't like a real salon opportunity or experience rather. And yeah, like I was just pouring into everybody, right? And I felt like my cup was being emptied. Like I was a single mother. I was pouring into the other stylists. And it became a lot. Like I was dropping my kids off at school from 8 in the morning. I wouldn't get them till 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. I found the only school in St. Louis City that will watch them to that late because I just didn't have the support. And I cried. I felt so guilty. I felt so bad, but my eyes was truly on the prize. To me in my head, I'm thinking I'm gonna work hard now, but at some point I'm gonna have this full autonomy. You know what I mean? It's full freedom where I am today.
Right.
And so I had to just do it. I had to be that survivor. I had to be that warrior again. So, but what happened is, dealing with all the stress, dealing with all the guilt, dealing with, I'm working 16-hour days, 6 days a week on my feet with no breaks. Like I tell people that, and I really don't know if they know how to process what I'm saying. 16 hours while you then went to sleep. You went to sleep, you've eaten, you've sat and relaxed, probably took a nap, you worked, maybe sitting down. I'm on my feet the entire time, right? 6 days a week, 16-hour days. And it took a toll. So one day I caught the flu, the tonsillitis, and pneumonia all at the same time. I had a 105 fever for 12 days, 12 consecutive days that would not break. And the doctors were like, I just, like it wouldn't break. When I tell you the pain was so torturing, it was, pain is an understatement. It was just pure agony. And it wasn't until that moment where I started to really grasp the value of how important it was to live the life you want and dream of and deserve. And I wasn't doing that. I was in a situation where I was homeless and didn't have any money, but then I was in a situation where I had a lot of money, but I had no freedom. I was not able to enjoy life at all. I was, I visualized this pie, right? And this pie had 85% of this pie, where my time and energy was going to, was my work. And I think it was like 13% was going to my kids, and I had 2%. My needs were not being met. It's like the epitome of not loving yourself. You know what I mean? Or not having that worth enough to stop and say, hey, something don't feel right. That doesn't feel good. Maybe I should go get that checked out. Or, oh, I'm really overwhelmed. Maybe I should take a break. Let me take a day off to breathe a little bit. I didn't have any of that. It was go, 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 go. Like an Energizer Bunny with no batteries. Okay. So that's kind of where, that's when it really hit me. Like, I have to shift my paradigm. I have to create a life that supports me, and not kills me and destroys me. So that's when I switched my system, and we moved salons, and I kind of went on my own because my sister, she didn't really want to do hair. Really, she was just kind of, it was just, she was really a dancer. She loved to dance, so hair was like her second option, right? And it was a way to make a living, So I went on my own, and I shifted my whole structure, my whole salon structure. It was no longer like booth rent, because I'm really invested in people's well-being. Like if you're in my space, I truly want you to reach your full potential. So I'm going to give you all of me if you're in my space. I'm talking about every piece of me. If I see anything that's out of line or improper or that could be done better to help you, to help catapult you to really where you want to be, I'm going to step in. And in my previous situation, I was emptying my cup, but I wasn't being filled. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was no compensation, even though it's not really about that. But the thing is, you only have limited time, limited space in your life. Right. So if you're putting 80% of it, 85% of it over here, you have to consider yourself and your kids, or your life, or other things that are important to you. So I didn't really have that balance, So I decided to switch my structure to a revenue-based sharing structure where everybody wins. I can pour everything into you. In fact, that's all I do. But it fuels me. You know what I mean? It fills my cup back up, you know, so it makes sense. So that's kind of how I got to the place that I am now. I'm actually a retired hairstylist, but I am a practicing hair loss practitioner and trichologist, but I still have my salon where I have trained other hairstylists to do what it is that I do, because a lot of women want what I have to offer or what I've created. Which you guys, if you were on earlier, you saw earlier with Dr. Renee, me helping to her hair to go from here to all the way, you know, down here. So clearly that's another topic. Like, a lot of women wanted this, but I'll tell you this, like, it wasn't until my near-death experience where I was like, you know, I have to really create a niche. Like, I was everywhere. I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing this, I was doing that, and it was chaotic. You can't have, our brains are not computers. Like, you can't have this chaotic mind and expect to have this peaceful, joyful, easy life. You know, life can be simple, but not if your mind not if your mind is complex. You know, so I started really simplifying things. So I started focusing on this specific technique, the Abra Kadabra sewing. And for me, I didn't grow up wearing, you know, sew-ins or anything like that. Weaves, maybe braids, maybe a ponytail, something like that. Not like wigs or glue-ins or weaves like that. So I didn't grow up wearing that. So it was kind of like my weakness when I got into hair. So I didn't really like having weaknesses. So I really just focused on that. But what I realized on that process is that, oh, wow, I can use this. I was first using it to help women transition from relaxed hair to natural hair, because I had so many clients that were like, this is against my religion for me not to get a relaxer. Like, how do you expect me to live? They said it literally.
No, I understand, because that was
Yeah, they was like, not a relax. What is that?
I was like, I have to. What are you talking about? I can't deal with this hair.
Yeah, like, you know, that's who I attract. I attract business women, you know, family women who are making an impact. Like, we're busy, you know, we don't have time for hair, but we still want great hair, you know. And the Abra Kadabra sewing like provided that. So if you don't know what that is it's a 6-month sewing system where it involves the installation. 3 months later, it involves a retouch tightening, and then 3 months after that, it's a removal, or I call it the reveal, where you grow 3 to 5 inches of natural, healthy hair within that time frame. And while wearing the sewing is secure, it's safe, it's resilient, it's functional, it's not falling apart, it looks natural. In fact, I have one right now. I've had this in for 5 months. And you can imagine what it's like to create something that, obviously, I didn't create the sew-in. And since it's International Women's Month, you know, just big ups to Christina Jenkins, who actually created it like 1967 or 69 or something like that. But I recreated something that really helped serve African American women, because African American women really suffer with achieving the hair growth results that they want, and fullness and health that they want. And for me, through this process, you know, I was able to allow women to have a break and a breakthrough, a break from their hair. You know, hair is a stressor. Like, it's just a huge, when it's not right, it drives us crazy, and it takes so much to do. So we put all this energy to it, and sometimes it still doesn't end up being right. We were just talking about that with you, Dr. Renee. Your twist style, you like, well, these one twist here just won't do what I tell them to do. You know, it can be really frustrating. And in fact, you know, like, just over history, Black women just have a negative relationship with their hair. And it's because we've been scrutinized for so long. Like, our curls, our kinks, our texture has been scrutinized. And so you'll find that there's really no Black women walking around saying, I love my hair, I love my hair, I love it, I love it, I love it, until they sit in my chair or my company's chair. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, like, we help women reach their full potential when it comes to their hair. It's like, it surpasses what they even imagine. Like, did you ever think your hair could be that long, Dr. Ryan? Like, most women.
Honestly, when I went because I was about to start recording my show, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have this show. It's my show, Out of Office with Dr. Renee, is in 45,000 doctors' offices across the country. And I was like, this is like a real professional, you know. I had one producer and 2 cameramen. Like, it was serious. We went on location, and I was like, I loved my natural hair. I had finally come to peace with it, but I also knew that you get what you get. It didn't matter what day or what you had going on that day. My hair would do whatever it wanted to do. And I was like, I can't do that, not know what my hair is going to look like and have to, go and shoot these shows. And I was like, I need something that's consistently, I know when I get up, my hair is going to be fine. I'll be great. I won't, need to figure out, oh God, we got to throw a hat on or something. No, I'll be okay. And that was my thing, was that I needed something that would make sure that I was camera ready. And so that's why I did it. The other thing was the zero maintenance. She was like, you won't have to do anything. And I was like, oh my God, you what? Because I was twisting my hair and washing my hair, and I was driving myself crazy because I'm not a hairstylist. I know my lane, and this ain't it. And so that's what I was looking for. I really hadn't even thought about the growth. I was just like, just get it out of my way so I ain't got to see it. And so that I know that my hair is great every time I have to go on camera. And I mean, I was flabbergasted after the first time, because I was like, oh my God, because when I went in there, my hair, I had a whole section in the back that broke off that was probably about this long, you guys. Can you see my finger right here? Yeah, maybe that long. And I was just like, I don't even know if you can braid this little section, but this is my hair. And she's like, nope, we'll be fine. I'm like, okay. And when she took it out and it was like all one, I was like, oh my God, this is not my hair. This is not my hair. And I just went back and forth in sewing, so I didn't wear my hair out. So after that first time, I said, okay, well then I want my hair to be as long as Abra's. I was like, I mean, if it's gonna do this, then just keep on going. And so I was blown away. And like my mother said, she's like, no one in the family has hair this long. And she's like, oh, she just couldn't believe it. And I was talking to one of my hairdressers yesterday from my childhood, and she was like, I said, you wouldn't believe, but I can actually put my hair in a top knot. And I said, and it's completely my hair. And it's not like a struggling top knot. No, it's a healthy big old knot. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, I can't believe that it's all mine. But I'm like, yeah, it works.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the feeling, that we want to be responsible for, And so when I really started focusing on that and that alone, I saw my business like really, really take off. And that's when I decided to like shift that structure. I could no longer handle everybody. Like when I tell you and it felt like the entire city was trying to sit in my chair, and I was only one little person and I had kids. And one thing I know for sure was I was not willing to kill myself over this again. So why not provide other opportunities to other hairstylists? And so that was my reason behind that. And when I did that, I was like, oh my God, this really works. And I'm not going to say it was easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of structure and a lot of operational manuals and policies and stuff that we would, run into, that I had to develop to make sure that it was running fluid and peacefully, So I put in that work, and then I was able to retire during a pandemic, like fully retired, from behind the chair. But I still, in the midst of that time, what I realized is that, okay, we got all these clients, but some of these clients are probably going to struggle with hair loss at some point. You know what I mean? Because they're getting older in age, hormonal issues, other sicknesses, deficiencies, genetic issues are going to start coming to play. And I wanted to be in front of that. And so that's what made me go get my hair loss practitioner and trichology license. And when I tell you, oh my God, I did it at the perfect timing, because it was like, once I did that, it seemed like we had our first situation where there was a client who hair got longer, but it seemed like, she had her hair itself, like she had all her hair, but the hair itself was thinning out. So it was that was the hair strand, the diameter of the hair strand was thinning out after I did the evaluation of it. So she wasn't getting the same amount of oxygen and nutrients, supplements, vitamins and minerals, and things like that to the hair all over. So which made me think maybe this is more of a bigger issue. Maybe it's a hormonal thing, you know what I mean? So, and then she was getting older too, right? So I was like, oh wow. So we were able to get in front of that, and we helped shift that and preventing her. So, you know, I'm really big on preventative measures because a lot of us, there's 21 million women who suffering with hair loss. You know, 6 million women is from genetics, which is reversible. It's reversible, you know, but you have to have that certain type of support, which is why I have my hair growth products, Abra Kadabra Hair Growth Therapy. You have to have that growth support. You know, you have to have organic inhibitors in them, like green tea, saw palmetto, you know, African bark, you know, herbs and stuff to really help fight against that dehydrotestosterone that's blocking your follicles from getting what it needs. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that I got into that. And honestly, once I was able to kind of free myself up from all of the hard work that I put into my business, I wrote this. I wrote this book, Poor Hair, Rich Hair. And because I really witnessed a lot of hairstylists struggling, and you really don't have to. And I wrote that book because I really didn't want anybody to kill themselves, you know, like I almost did, you know, just from working so hard and not having a good balance. And from there, you know, I have this business now. I have a lot of following. I have a lot of people interested. Like, people really didn't believe what I was doing for so long. Like, for the last 10 years, I've been fighting to get people to understand and see what it is that I do. At some point, you know, I have over 1,000 hair growth testimonies. So at some point, you got to believe me. Okay. You got to believe me at some point, you know, and that's kind of where I am. Right now, I have an online course right now where I'm now teaching other hairstylists my hair growth systems and strategies, because I have a list of thousands of women who want what I offer. And, you know, I wasn't planning on teaching. I wanted to hold it to myself like a baby. You know,
she did. I remember.
Like, I don't plan.
There was the ladies in the salon, and that was it.
That was it. That was it. But that can only go so far. You know, when you have a global mission, God is going to push you in that direction, whether you want to or not. And that's what happened. So in the beginning of 2021, it was on me heavy. Like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to teach this. When more women started following, more women started filling out a pre-consultation form. I mean, I had over 3,000 people fill out this pre-consultation form in a year without much advertisement. I went 5 months in 2021 without posting a picture.
Right.
You know, so I was like, oh, and we don't have space and we're booked. You know what I mean? So I hate to see that. So I'm very solution oriented. And I was like, okay, what can I do so that these women can be seen, but we don't necessarily have to do it. You know, I just really hate denying them of the experience, because it really is a good experience, a great experience. I hate denying women of that. I know people are struggling with their hair. I know people need a break, a healthy, safe break. I know people want hair growth. I know women want hair growth, and we deserve it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to start teaching. I'm definitely going to have to start teaching. And in fact, I'm also in franchise development right now. So I'll have actual salons around the United States and hopefully around the country at some point. So that's kind of where I am now.
Yeah, that I think that, you know, when you bless other people, blessings come to you. And so there is I mean, before she even taught a course, there was like a 3-month waiting list. 3 months out for you to get an appointment.
Right.
I remember when I first went, you said 30 days. And then after that, it just got larger. Look, and it might have been my fault. But I have one friend that is a client of yours, and she's like, oh, I show everyone your pictures. I was like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, you're pretty popular. You definitely one of the faces of Abra Kadabra Hair Healing.
Right. And I mean, even just in you know, in my spaces, everyone's like, oh my God, who did your hair? Oh, and I mean, and my friends are like me. We will travel to go get our hair done. I don't live in St. Louis, y'all. Never have. But I will travel to go get my hair done. And Abra knows I am the worst client too. So I will show up, and then I may not make it back until it's time to get it out. But, you know, I did make it.
Did your hair last that entire time?
It did. And you know what? It's funny because I post this one picture on Instagram because somebody asked. They were like, well, how did your hair look after 8 months? And I go, well, this wedding, I have a picture. I was at a wedding August 14th of 2021. I mean, 2020. No, 2021. And I had got my sew-in November of 2020. And I wasn't just a guest at the wedding. I had to do a reading at the wedding. So it wasn't like,
wow.
Right. It was like I had to be up on, in front of everybody.
Right.
I look fabulous. I was like, and when they told them that, they were like, what? I was like, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that picture is that old. And it was not a problem. I looked fine. And that was the thing with my hair. I told you what I wanted. I needed it to be reliable. It was reliable. And mind you, that picture, I'm going to find the picture. But the other funniest thing is that I work out every day. So this was me working out every day with that sewing. And hair looked lovely. And I mean, I did how many interviews? I did like 4 different TV interviews. And this was way far from November of 2020. This is all in 2021. Hair was on point each time. And I was like, and people are like, there's no way. Oh, yes, there's a way. And here it is. Here it is. I have the picture. I got it. And I'm going to share it in a second. But yeah, I was like, no, you can do it. This is possible. But you just have to, do it. But
I actually we went to urgent care when I got COVID back in May and finally saw you on the screen in the doctor's office. Brought back so much. I was like, oh my God, I remember when we were planning for her hair for this, That's crazy.
So, you guys, this picture on the left was August of 2021. And I got my hair done the end of November of 2020.
Wow.
Yes. So as you see, I was fine. I was ready. But yeah, that was the thing is that my hair will still look fine. And everyone's like, well, it must have been a knotted mess when they took it out. No, it was fine. No, not at all. It was fine. And so my thing is, I said, I prefer go to the salon twice a year or 3 times a year than to have to go every week or every other week or every 6 weeks or whatever. Because a lot of people are like, well, why don't you lock it? I said, because you have to keep twisting those locks and I am not going to do it. I'd have to go to someone, which would mean like one of my girlfriends is like, well, I go every 6 weeks. I go, see, that's a whole lot more times that you're sitting in a salon than I am.
Yeah.
And Abra knows, before the pandemic, I was in and out because we had to try and match our schedules, which is why I would end up skipping that 3 month because we couldn't match the schedules because I'm in and out and not able to get to St. Louis. So I need my time. And that was like the biggest thing is that sitting in the salon for those 2 times in the year do not equate to the time there's just no way that it equals the same amount of time of me going to the salon every other week or every 3 weeks or every 6 weeks. It doesn't even add up. Because honestly, I will tell you, they're pretty quick. It is not that bad. And me flying, and actually even before I took the bus and taking the bus left at 3 o'clock. My salon appointment was at like 9. And I had to be back to the bus stop to get on the bus by 3. And I would be washed, conditioned, and everything, taken out, installed, everything. I'd be ready to go with time to spare. So it's just, it really, the thing was the time for me was just like, and then the fact that, like I said, I am camera ready. I started getting lash extensions. I said, that helped me to be camera ready too. I said, when I have my hair together, my lashes are on, all I have to do is put on lipstick and y'all wouldn't know that I didn't have nothing else in between. And I'm ready. And so I loved the time thing. That was my thing. And so she said it, if you're listening and you are a stylist or you are someone that sits in the chair, she has a course. And from that same link, they can get your course, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I have the link in the post and you can go to the course and take the course. And you could, so we have one friend, I have one friend that actually paid for the course for her stylist because she knew this is what she wanted to do with her hair.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe y'all can get an arrangement like that. I don't know, but she has thousands of women ready to hop in the chair, hundreds for whatever city you're in.
For sure. For sure.
And she's more than happy to hand them over
Insane.
to you. As soon as you are ready, she is ready to hand them over to you. So I don't know what stylist could come out the gate learning anything, even walking out of cosmetology school, walk out and already have an entire list of clientele, too many people than you could probably even handle.
Yes. Oh, for sure. It can't even be just you in your
It
city.
would have to be somebody else.
Somebody else. Yeah. So
that's why I'm like, and I understand, you get what you pay for. So you do have to pay for the course. I mean, the course ain't free because the return on investment is so ridiculous. You got to pay something, not to mention her time is valuable. And so the return on investment alone, though, is just mind-boggling. Like once you get through the course, which honestly, if I was a stylist, it would encourage me to hurry up and get through the course because I know what the other end is.
Exactly.
And hurry up and get my money back.
Right. Which will be nothing. Two, maybe 3 clients. And you have a lifetime skill that you will never go broke with, ever.
And like Abra used to work 9 days out the month. 9 days in a month.
9.
Why would you not want to do that? And you could set yourself up to, have, you wouldn't have to, like she said, as stylish, you don't make money if you're not in the chair. Well, you could learn other things with your time.
Right.
To make your money, make money so you don't have to be handcuffed to the chair.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So she did come out with products, and her products are fabulous too. I do use those as well. I use those now with my sew-in. I never had used them. She didn't have them out then.
Right.
So when they came out and I got this out, I got my hair out. I was like, okay, so I started using the products. So I use her products now. But she has hair growth pills. She's got shampoo, conditioner. The only thing I'm waiting for is now she needs to get some oil, cream, etc. Other 20,000 things that go into putting this hair together.
Right. So yeah, my I wouldn't necessarily say that my line right now is more for hair care to speak right now at this minute. I really wanted to attack, my mission is hair growth,
Right.
So that is an internal thing, and that's at the scalp too. That starts from the scalp also. So that's my focus. My focus is internal and scalp remedies and solutions that really help stimulate and promote thicker, healthier, longer hair. The only thing for the hair right now is the shampoo and conditioner. By April 1st, I will also have oils as well. So those will also could be used for the scalp, and they could be used for the hair as well. So, but then the next phase season is more hair care, which I feel like that's the easier, that's the easy part. You know what I mean? Right. But I really wanted to get this part down because a lot of us are miseducated or not educated enough to know that your scalp hygiene is very, very important when your hair is exposed.
Right.
And so, and if you have hair loss, you have to when you have hair loss, your scalp is so vulnerable. So some people may have a balding and hair come in and it's gone, and it come in and it's gone. It make you think, why is that happening? Because the integrity of your hair and your scalp and underneath it and in your body plays a huge role in that development, Right. So that's what my products are geared towards, just to help you keep more hair on your head for a longer period of time, when we usually lose a lot of hair in a very short period of time. So it makes our hair very vulnerable, and you're not able to retain the length that you want, no matter what it is that you do. Right. Or you kind of cap out at a certain length. But with my sewing system and my product system, they're both designed to help you keep more hair on your head, like reduce the amount of hair that you lose on a day-to-day, so that your hair can remain thicker, and so that you can retain the length that you want. So
yeah. So yeah, I encourage you, like I said, if you're a stylist, you're someone that sits in the chair, you need to go to the website, check it out, and definitely, try to convince your stylist, or if you're a stylist, take the course.
For
Because
sure.
there's not, and I mean, if you're somebody who already does sew-ins, then you really should take the course, because you already have clients that would love you immensely if they were getting 3 to 5 inches of growth after each time taking their sew-ins out. Plus, if they could keep their sew-ins longer, because some people are like, well, why would she do that? Because the clients don't have to come in as often. But it doesn't work that way.
It
They
does.
will keep coming back. And you, as a matter of fact, because it takes longer to do my hair, she actually gets paid more because it's longer.
Yeah,
So
and
what I
that's
paid at the
the
beginning
point.
is not what I pay now.
Right, because you have more hair.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I'm glad you made that point, because hairstylists do think about that. Like, oh, if they're not coming back, I'm going to be missing money. First of all, the value of the service, a client coming to you in six months weekly or bi-weekly, the client that's going to get the sewing that's going to come see you 3 to 5 times in that same 6 months is paying you more than the person who's coming, more
Yeah,
than
every other week or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Or about the same amount. So you're really not losing anything. But what you are doing is freeing up more space, because more people are going to want that. So you're creating more space for bigger tickets.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So you are going to have more space to have more people paying you at
Bigger
$400 or $300 at a drop each time they come, rather than you have the space to fill and have $50 for 10 people. Why not have 5 people pay 500? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so you have to think that way. But it just makes better sense. So like I said, if you're already someone who does weaves, then you probably would want to learn this system, only because you will change the game with the growth your clients will see, and then because of the length of time that they could keep it in and keep it looking fresh. Now, there are people, we both know, that will come into her salon to have their hair done and stuff even after they have their sewing in.
For sure.
One, I'm not in St. Louis, and
Right.
2, I don't have time like that. So
Even if you were, you probably still wouldn't come.
I probably still wouldn't. You're right. Plus, I wear curly hair, so it's easy. It's easy. If you wear straight hair, I could see probably you need to do that. I don't wear a closure either, so I have none of my hair out, which means I have nothing to deal with.
Right.
If my hair was out, I might be one of those people, only because I don't want to look, I don't want my hair to go bald while the rest of it's growing.
Right, exactly.
Well,
a lot of people have that problem. Not in our business, but
Right.
a lot of people who wear sewings have that problem where they're losing the hair on the leave out, which is baffling.
And so she actually, the top of hers is out. That's her
Yeah.
hair. And so, and she obviously knows, and she takes very good care of her, so it looks fabulous. But like I said, mine is completely sewn in, but it's so well done that most people didn't even know I wore a sew-in. And when I took it out and had my hair straight, they thought that was the weave, which cracked me up, because I was like, no, that other thing was. They were like, what? And I was like, and so it's funny because my sew-in is short.
Right.
You have long hair. And I was like, yeah, but I like my short sew-in. And I almost got longer and was like, no, we just got fuller, but we're not going to go longer. We're going to keep it right at 12 inches, right here. 12 inches, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
And that works for me. And it just works with my branding and everything. I'm happy that way. I don't like to deal with it. I don't put in a ponytail, and it actually doesn't fit into a ponytail, which is fine with me, but my actual hair does. So yeah, it works for me. But I also wanted to say that the other thing that we, like I said, so we figured out we're related, and we had a lot in common. So I call it Caribbean Black. So my dad is from the Caribbean. Her mother's from the Caribbean. Her mother's from Jamaica. My dad's from Antigua. But her father is like my mother, regular old black is what I call it. And so that's why I say I'm Caribbean Black. But yeah, so we have that in common. And then and just, the whole entrepreneurial mindset. Like I remember
authors.
Yes, we're both authors. Do you have your book right there?
I sure do.
Of course, yes. Poor hair, rich hair. Oh my gosh, get it out of the blur. Okay, push it forward now. Tilt it like this. Yes. Okay, poor hair, rich hair. And I'll put a link for that too. It's on Amazon. But yeah, so we're both authors. This is my new baby. which you need to get one for my little
Oh
friend
yeah,
who I
yeah.
still
I
need
had
to
just
move.
ran across that.
Yes, you gotta get one.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But yeah, so that's my new baby. But we're both authors, and we just had the entrepreneurial mindset. The first time I went, I go, okay, so you need to have your branding on. Like, she sold me this lovely water bottle. I was like, your branding needs to be on there. And then now it is.
Yeah. I even got my branding on my laptop. I remember
Right.
you had
And she was like,
oh,
and then, and I have it on my phone, and she's like, oh, well, where'd you get it? And so, yeah. So I was like, no, you gotta put all this stuff. And she does. I mean, she listens, and because I am a little bit older than her.
Right. And more tech savvy, clearly.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. So I've been putting her up on some things, and was like, okay, well, do this, do that. But I'm just so excited to see the growth. I can only imagine what we could have done if we had met way earlier. Oh my God. Look, we gonna kill the game already, but we could have really killed the game.
Right.
Look, because I'd have had that Atlanta thing unlocked for you. But that's my second home.
It's coming. It is coming.
Yeah, but no, she even did a tour around the country, and I think every city she went to was somebody I referred that came and got their hair done.
Yep. Oh yeah. You are everybody. All my client coordinators be like, oh, they know you by heart. They know you, man. They like, oh yeah. I talk to a lot of people that knows her.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I told her my inbox, because for some reason when I posted the video, they thought I was the stylist. I go, no, I was the girl in the chair.
That's funny.
But I'm like, here's the website. I go, if you can get a slot, good luck with that. But yeah, it was just really awesome when I decided to get my hair done. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the mega bus. And mind you, guys, remember, we had never met. I was like, my bus gets in the middle of the night, so I came to her house in the middle of the night. She let me in. I slept on the couch. Actually, no, it was your mom's house.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I was in a process of buying a house.
Right. And I had never met her mother either. And I stayed there, and then we went to the salon together the next morning.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, I thank you, because it really was a life changer, because it really, like I said, gives me a nice polished look, and is helping me to get all the things that I'm getting and keep moving in the direction that I'm trying to move with my brand. And I hope people understand entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. But I always say people with Caribbean blood have a different thing going, because we just are very driven people. If you guys have seen, Dr. Cindy Duke has been on here. She got out of fellowship and started her own fertility clinic. Soca mom Eva Wilson, she's another one. She went to law school and homeschooled 3 kids at the same time. I knew you would stop on that one. Yes. So she's Trinidadian, just like she's Trinidadian. She's Trinidad and Tobago both. Just Cindy is Tobagan. But yeah, it's a mentality you have to have. And while she was doing all of that, she was also one of the best bloggers that I've ever met in my life. She is, wow. I mean, she had so many relationships with so many brands. She is killing the game. And so, like I said, but she went to law school and homeschooled at the exact same time, which was and full-time entrepreneur. Like, who does that? But West Indian people, it's in our blood. And then also, I understand driven. If you're driven to do something, you're going to get it done. You're going to make things happen. And you have to have a vision, and then you just have to go and keep going and make it happen. And people are like, but I've had so many people tell me, there's no way you can keep that sew in that long. Your hair must smell. I said, you have been around me. Did I smell? I was like, no. And then also, because I'm so short, I'm at people's noses anyway. So I'm very hypersensitive about any smells in my hair anyway. And so I was like, no, my hair does not smell. It has no fungus in it. It's fine. It is fine. And so they just blown away. And they're like, there's no way. I go, there is. And there was one other person I would said that would I would let them do a sew-in for me, but they charged like 3 times what she charged, but it can only keep it in for 3 months. I go, the math just ain't mathing, as they say. That just didn't happen. I go, that as cheap as I am, I go, that does not make sense.
Right.
And I had a friend who asked me, and I told her about you and everything, and she still went to the other person. And I was like, but how long can you keep it? And how much did you pay? It was like $800 for 3 months. And I was like, see, that just don't make no sense. That makes no sense.
Wow.
And yes, it looks good. I'm not going to say it didn't, but that does not make sense. 3 months, 800, like, are you kidding me?
Crazy.
So I was like, no. I said, you don't seem to understand. And, people are like, but Renee, you have to get there. I said, yeah, but one, the megabus, remember I even got there on $1 one time. The
Right.
megabus is so cheap.
$25 maybe.
Right. It's so cheap. It does not, it's cheaper than the Uber to get to salons because none of the salons in the city, I would have to have gone outside of the city. And I was just like, no, and I was like, even the flight is just not a big deal. And she has people coming from out of the country that would come get their hair done. I mean, all over the country.
All over.
Because this is what we got used to it. This is what we like. And so she knows she's got to do mine because I can't with this hair. I cannot believe I kept it out this long and haven't shaved my head.
Shocked. Yes, I'm very shocked.
August 24th is when I took my weave out, and my God, woo, it's been a long whatever month.
What was that, 7 months?
Something like that. Something like that. I'm just like, God help me. But I'm so grateful. It is, like I said, when I do it, I love that, the growth. If I didn't have to work out every day, I probably would straighten it and check it out and stuff. But because I work out every day, I don't have time for that. I sweat too much. But yeah, I even swam in it, and it was lovely. I've swam in it in the ocean. I've swam in chlorinated pools. Still look fabulous. So when I tell you the biggest thing that you need to take away is that time is money, and time is the one thing you can never get back. And this could be a form of self-care because you don't have the time to spend worrying about your hair. Because like you said, that causes a whole lot of issues for a lot of people. I have a friend that created the TGIN hair products, and she wrote a whole book about it. Christia Donaldson, unfortunately, rest in peace. But she wrote a book, and her book tells the story of how she wore wigs because her natural hair was unacceptable at the law firm that she worked at. She was a lawyer. And she wore wigs, and she ended up getting fired. And it's because of the energy, and she couldn't do her job effectively because of the way she felt, because she was hiding herself. And so it's just so important, and they have the oh my God, I just forgot the name. The Crown Act. The Crown Act that I've done some volunteer work with through Save a Girl, Save a World. And we're trying to get it so that all the states have the Crown Act, because you should not be able to discriminate people, men, women, child, because, children have been thrown out of school because they have locks or something. You should not be able to discriminate because of people's hair. And it always ends up being Black people. So you should not be able to discriminate, hiring people, children going to school or getting accepted to schools, because certain private schools were like, oh, you can't wear that. You shouldn't be able to. And that's why the Crown Act needs to be adopted across all 50 states, because this is something that is a problem, unfortunately. And so that's what I'm saying, ladies, gentlemen, and actually her trichologist, I've noticed that you've had some men.
Oh, men. Yes. See? I'm excited about it. Men are the easiest to really help as far as growing their hair, like the easiest. Like if you are struggling, have some issues at the top, thinning out, like, your hairline and the crown mid area, like starting with something simple as like shampoo and conditioner will really help you. It may take, it's different for everybody. Like I have pictures on my Instagram at AK Hair and Healing, where men, they've used the shampoo and conditioner for 2 months, and, 50, 60, 70% of their hair has come back in. Or they may be used for 3 months, and 85% of the hair has come back in. So it's a process we're trying to develop. If you don't have any activity, my products are designed to really spark some activity, and it has to form a hair strand, and it has to grow underneath the scalp, and then it reflects on the outside of the scalp. So it is a little process with the hair growth, but when you start using my products, they do work. So.
And she does have tons of testimonials on her Instagram about the hair products and how well they work. So please check them out. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's watched live. And then those that watch the replay, please make certain that you type in replay. And if you have any questions, type them in the chat so then I can check it out for you. I can hopefully get answers for you if I don't know the answer myself. Also, her link is in the post. She's giving 10% off for the month of March 2022. So if you watch this in the month of March 2022, you can get 10% off. And the code is Dr. Renee.
Yes.
And so the link, like I said, is in the box. And then also I'll put the code there too, and I'll put the date so you know it's only for the month of March for Women's History Month. So thank you so much. And everyone, next week, I'm so excited. We are going to have my new, I call her manager. She calls herself publicist, but she's also a St. Louis person, Winnie Elizabeth Thompson. And I cannot wait for you to hear her story. It is amazing. And she is amazing. And I'm just so excited to be working with her. But I'm excited to bring her story to you so you guys can hear all about her and her fabulous son. Okay. Have a great week. And we'll see you next week.